Hey everyone, today we'll be reviewing the Marvel Legends series Iron Man Model 1 from the Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest Wave. So right now we got the front of the box here. Pretty good look at the Mark 1 Iron Man armor. We got the side view here, which is, I'm pretty sure, a digital rendition of the figure. Looking great. And we got back. Look at the accessories. It looks like we got a pair of repulsor hands or open hands, and then we got a pair of closed fist hands, the rocket boosters, and then the smoke coming out of the rocket boosters. And on this side, we got a nice classic image from, I believe, the first appearance of Iron Man. So we'll get this bad boy cracked open and see if he's worth the money. All right, and we got him out of the box, and he is looking pretty incredible, guys. This figure, he is, right now, one of my favorite Iron Man figures, easily. If we go in, let's go ahead and get started. So to start, you can't really tell on the camera. I don't know if it's picking it up very well, but there is a really, really nice silver paint job to this. It is a gray plastic, a silvery gray plastic. However, they did go in, and you can tell, bring it in close right here. See if we can get it under the light. There is some paint on this, and the paintwork again is incredible. So what they did, it looks like they put some chrome silver paint on the arms, on parts of the chest, on the legs, but then on top of that, they got this really awesome, like, scuffing battle damage going on. So you can see it right there on the knee and the shin, on this leg as well. You know, on the knee and shin, you got this cool battle damage going on. Even in the fingers, you know, in the hands, you got this cool, look at that grimy scuffing looking like it's going on, like if you gotten, you know, straight out of battle with this armor. You got some scuffs right here, and then you can see it on the chest. It's hard to tell on the camera, but he has it in the forehead. And he also has some right here on the chin. There you go. You can pick it up. It's right there. But it looks really, really good. My only issue with the paint on this figure really is the back. The front of the figure is really good, but then you got the back here, and the back is just plain. If we look at the back of the helmet, there is silver paint on the back. There is scuffing on the back, so that's great. We got some, you know, silver paint right here on the arms, and then some scuffing on the elbow right here. Also, arms has silver paint, and then a little bit of scuffing on that elbow. But if you look at the, you know, the butt, the back, there's no silver paint, and the marbling is really, really showing on the back. You can kind of see it through the paint in the front a little bit. Right here, the marbling is really, really bad. You can see it. But overall, I think the silver paint does a good job of hiding a lot of the marbling. It's just, again, on the back, there's absolutely no silver paint, so the marbling really is really apparent on the back. Which is a shame, considering that they put all this detail in the back too, all these lines in the back of the belt and stuff, that they could have, you know, painted silver and throw some more scuffing on the back to cover up the marbling. So, you know, paint is great, but there isn't enough of it. The back is missing some, so I would love to have seen this released with some back paint. But overall, really a good looking figure. So now that we've kind of gone through the paint, gone through the aesthetics, let's just go through some of the articulation here. So to start, Iron Man, you know, we have him standing up straight. He can do a really good Y pose. You know, arms go straight out, straight up like that. Come down, 360 rotation. It also has great bicep swivel. You see it right here on both sides. Then the arms, a little bit tricky. They are double jointed, pinless double jointed, though you have to really, you know, pay attention when you're turning the arm. So if you just go without thinking, it's going to do this thing where only one joint really bends, and you're going to get this like 90-degree, yeah, it is about 90-degree bend. But if you want to really get the full range of movement with the elbow, you want to make sure you bend this point in articulation first, and then you bend the second point, and then you can get a little past 90. Looking really good. As you can see, both points of articulation are being utilized there. So that's what we got going on there. Then as far as the wrist is concerned, we got up and down motion and then rotation. So you can get the good Ironman repulsor poses, you know, going on. That looks great. And then if we go down to the legs, legs come out all the way like that. It's pretty good splits. If I'm going to put him on the ground at his absolute lowest point and still standing, you can do that. So that's pretty awesome. Then we get with the legs, we can go up pretty far, back not very far at all. It's probably about as far back as it's going to go. And then knees, same with the elbows. It's double jointed at the knee, hidden, you know, with the pinless technology. However, you have to really make sure that you get it so you can get both points utilized there. And there it is, looking really good. And then at the bottom, you got ankle rotation, or you got, sorry, ankle goes up, down, and then you get that ankle pivot. Boom, beautiful ankle pivot. And that's really it when it comes to the articulation of this figure. It is a beautiful, beautiful figure, very well articulated, especially for the Mark 1. You know, the Mark 1 is a bulkier, bigger armor, so I'm not, you know, upset that I can't get as much articulation as I could get with a regular Iron Man figure. For example, you're not going to really get this guy doing the famous Iron Man landing very well. You know, we can give it a try here on camera. You know, not going to be the greatest Iron Man. You can do that. I mean, I guess you could. You could do it. It's not, in my opinion, the most convincing, but it can be done. I guess it can be done. So that's pretty cool. But overall, you know, again, the design of this figure is supposed to be bulky. It's supposed to be, you know, not as movable, pretty cumbersome. So I'm okay that the range of movement isn't as much as you would expect from, you know, your average Iron Man figure. As far as accessories are concerned, as you can see, he comes with a set of fisted hands and a set of repulsor hands. So the repulsor hands are the hands that come out of the box. I prefer the fisted hands. So as you can see here, here's the other fisted hand right there with that beautiful, beautiful paint detail that you can't really see. There it is. And then same with the repulsor hands, has the same paint detail on there. And these are really nice. The repulsor hands, they don't have a plug-in so you can put the repulsor effects. For me, personally, it's not a really big issue. In my own headcanon, this armor is really more about, you know, what you saw in the Iron Man 1, you know, movie from 2008, where it's really just flamethrowers and rockets and hydraulic strength and stuff like that. That's really what I think about when I see this armor. I know in the original continuity, he did have repulsor rays even at this stage of armor. But me, for my display, I'm probably not going to have him displayed doing any repulsor effects. He's probably going to have both fisted hands looking like some kind of, you know, fighting stance. So it's more than likely he's going to be posed something like this on my shelf. Yeah, probably something like that is how this guy's going to be looking on my shelf. Probably a little more dynamic. I'll figure out something to make it look a little cooler, but definitely not going to be doing the repulsor stance or anything like that with my figure, but it can be done. And then with the hands, you also get a pair of booster effects. This is what they look like. They plug into the bottom of the feet. Just plug in right in here. Boom. And, you know, it does the desired effect. So the way each of these are two pieces. So you get, you know, the actual flame effect right there, and then the smoke effect. So if you don't like using the smoke effect, I know some people don't, you can just put the boost effect in here alone, and that would be fine too. I really like these smoke effects personally. I didn't like them when I first saw them. It really had to do with how people were posing it. A lot of the time when these first were released, you'd see like this ring of smoke. You'd see this like ring of smoke right here, like wrapped around people's wrists, which didn't make any sense to me. Or wrapped around their ankles. So I like how they've designed it now where it's very, very clear that you're supposed to, you know, stick the peg out so that the smoke is below the boot or, you know, below the hand as opposed to coming out of their wrist. Like that's never made sense to me when I would see people pose it that way. So that's it as far as accessories are concerned. Let's do a little bit of size comparison on this bad boy. This guy is a really good looking figure, so let's go ahead and get him standing straight up, and we'll do some size comparison with some other figures I got nearby, and just with some Iron Man figures that we're going to have him compared to. So right off the bat, since we already have him here, let's pull up the Black Series Luke Skywalker, Dagobah Training Luke Skywalker. So this is your average 6-inch scale figure right here, and as you can see, Iron Man just kind of towers over him. The Mark 1, you know, towers over a 6-inch figure, which you know you would expect. This is going to be the same height that you're going to see your average, you know, Hydra soldier or AIM soldier. So this is kind of perfect for that. You know, speaking of AIM, actually, I'll put Luke Skywalker back here and grab an AIM soldier really quickly. If we get this AIM soldier right here, again, 6-inch scale figure, as you can see. Oh, okay, so I was wrong. The Black Series Luke is a little bit smaller than your average 6-inch figure. This is your AIM soldier right here, standing at just about the same height as Iron Man. If we get them back to back, they're basically the exact same height. So I don't know. In my opinion, the scaling is a little bit off. I would expect Iron Man to be a little bit bigger than this AIM soldier, especially considering the fact that this is supposed to be a bulkier armor. But I guess the question is this underscaled or is this overscaled? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. So we'll get this AIM soldier. We'll get this AIM soldier put away, and for size comparison, we'll pull out another Star Wars figure that I have. We got our Black Series Sith Trooper. This is your average troop size when it comes to Star Wars Black Series. So you get him standing next to him. Iron Man is taller, which is what I would want. And now let's do some comparisons to what we actually care about here, right? Let's see what he looks like next to some Iron Man figures. So let's start with our 80 years Iron Man. So we get our 80 years Iron Man here, standing right next to the Mark 1 Iron Man Marvel Legends. As you can see, they're about the same height. Mark 1 might just be a hair taller, barely. Again, you have to ask yourself, is this one a little bit undersized? I think it might be a tad bit undersized because the way I think of it, this armor right here is supposed to be bulkier, bigger than Iron Man's classic armor. This armor right here, I have always assumed, and from reading in the comic, that it's skin tight. This armor is a skin tight, metallic alloy, sci-fi bullshit armor, right? So my thought was always that this suit should be bigger than this suit. It is, but not by enough for me and the way I think of scaling. So I would like to have seen this figure to be a little bit bigger. Overall, though, when you have all your Iron Mans on display and your Hall of Armor set up, it isn't gonna look too bad. And later on in this video, I can go ahead and show you guys what this guy's gonna look like on the Hall of Armor's display that I have, and to see what he looks like in comparison to a whole bunch of Iron Men. So here's our say goodbye to our 80 years Iron Man, and now we'll bring let's bring the Silver Centurion Iron Man in here. So we've got our Silver Centurion here now. Again, this one is actually significantly larger. Actually, that's not true. Not significantly, but he is larger. Yeah. So Silver Centurion Iron Man's got him on the height just a little bit. Again, not super stoked about that. This figure should be bigger. It should be bulkier. But again, when you have the whole Hall of Armor's display set up, and if you play with where it's positioned and how it's posed, you can get the desired effect. So I don't think that Hasbro has completely failed with the sizing on this guy. But I do think he could have been a little bit bigger. So what do I think of this figure? I think this guy is awesome. I think he is a must buy, especially if you don't already have a Mark 1, classic Mark 1 in your collection. I never picked up the Toy Biz one. I wish I did. to have it to compare it to you guys, or compare it for you guys. Really the only difference to note is the mask here. On the classic Toy Biz one, it does come off to show an Iron Man face underneath. This one does not. Wish it had it, but otherwise, I'm not too, worried about it. I love how this looks. If you have that Mark 1, maybe consider picking this one up. But if you don't have it, you need this. This is a fantastic figure. Maybe a little too small, but overall, it'll work. So that's it for this review. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some pictures, and have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace.